Hi, this is Jennifer Joy, your Spark Your Being mentor. And since we're coming up on Halloween, I want to talk to you about a very real fear that hits creatives everywhere. Are you ready for this? I feel like we should have some sound effects or something going off, some lightning or something. But the fear I'm talking about is a real fear, and it is called fear of finishing. That's right, fear of finishing. And if you have fear of finishing, you know who you are. You might have started that book and it's sitting somewhere on a hard drive, or you have a business idea or a new idea for your business. And maybe you jotted down some notes or outlined or did something, but you never quite got it to finishing point, right? Or maybe you signed up for an account for a podcast, but you've never actually started podcasting. Or maybe you've got a couple episodes out there and then you let the ball drop, right? Fear of finishing a project. Now, there is a sister to the fear of finishing, and that is the fear of completion, which also plagues creatives. Now, the fear of completion is that you finish something, but you haven't completed it by releasing it. So you might have that workshop all done. Those PowerPoints are on your computer, but you've never given the workshop. Or maybe you're back there doing a blog every week or every couple weeks, but you've never published it. Or maybe it's on the web, but you've never actually told people about it. Fear of completion. So whether it's fear of finishing or fear of completion, like I said, these are both fears that really do plague the creative types. And let me tell you why briefly. So one thing is that if you're a creative person, you love and live for beauty. Now, it's your definition of beauty. We all have different definitions of beauty. But when you see something beautiful, it absolutely makes your heart sing, right? You know that, right? And I'm just thinking beauty right now. It makes me want to well up. Well, what happens is that we creatives, we strive for beauty in our work, which is a great thing to do, to strive for something that's a beautiful thing. Yet sometimes we can get trapped into perfectionism. So we want it to be perfect. And and I know it can never get to perfection. So we don't know when it's good enough, when it's beautiful enough to release. Or maybe you're stuck in the research mode because you're trying to get everything just right. Right? Same thing. You want this beautiful thing. And so you're stuck in that mode of just working on those little details. Or if you're a creative person, you love that burst of inspiration you get, right? Doesn't that feel amazing when you have all this clarity and you feel inspired and you know what you're doing? And we kind of live for inspiration as well, too. But feelings come and go. Sometimes within a minute they come and go. So eventually that inspiration leaves. It's a normal thing. It will leave at some point. And we want it back. We're waiting for that moment when we feel it again. And while we're waiting, we get distracted with other things. We lose our focus, or maybe we just get overwhelmed with putting out a bunch of fires everywhere, right? And then the other thing about creatives is that we live for the applause. Now, whatever type of creative you are, your applause might look different, but we really thrive on that recognition, that validation. And there's nothing wrong with that. As a matter of fact, it's a great tool for us creatives too, to keep striving toward that beauty and to help us be inspired. But what happens, the flip side of that, is that we get really scared of rejection. It's called almost that tomato fear, where we go to a Renaissance fair here in the area, and there's actually a spot where you can throw tomatoes at people, right? Have you seen that on Bugs Bunny cartoons or whatever, when the performer gets tomatoes thrown at them? Well, we're so scared of that rejection that we get paralyzed. We're worried that we won't live up to our own ideals, right? Or people won't love us. We so want to be loved and accepted. Or maybe we even worry that we'll disappoint someone, that the product we put out there or the piece of art that we put out there won't live up to everyone else's standards, and they'll be disappointed in us, especially people we really care about. So those are the fears that plague creatives. And I hope I've given you a little understanding of how and why we have those fears. I mean, they're normal human fears, but they're just amped up a little bit in creatives. And I don't know about you, but I get to a point where I get really sick of that self-sabotage that happens because of those fears. And the project never goes away, right? You think you can walk away from it, but it's always in the back of your head, nagging at you, right? Yeah, you know it. It's always there. You open up the hard drive, or the computer, you see that file on your desktop, and it's just nagging at you. It's always there with you. And here's why. It's part of your soul pattern. You came to this world to create. It's in you. And not only did you come to create, but you came to be a human who has these fears. So part of your journey here is to do that beautiful work, that beautiful expression of you, and overcome those human fears, to move beyond them, to release your work into the world. That's your purpose as a creative person. So it's not just seeing that folder on the screen, it's actually a soul longing. Your soul is calling to you every time you hear that voice nagging you in the back of your head. So I want you to just imagine for a minute that you do your project, you finish it and complete it, right? You finish it and you release it. You take it to completion. Think of how much satisfaction you can have knowing that you did what you said you were going to do. And this isn't only about other people knowing that you did what you said you were going to do, but it's about you fulfilling that commitment to yourself and to your soul that came here to be a creative person. And imagine just being proud of that expression that you did put out in that world. That's that expression that could only come from you, that's as unique as a snowflake. It's beautiful. And you have that satisfaction, that true satisfaction that you are living your purpose. You're living on purpose. Sounds juicy, doesn't it? It is, believe me. So what I wanted to tell you is that I have an action step for you. I have an action step for you. I am currently working on some free training that is going to address these soul patterns that cause us to sabotage ourselves, right? The human side causes us to sabotage ourselves, but the spirit side, the soul side of things, right? They can really fuel us and move us forward in our creative work. So like I said, I've got free training. I'm working on it right now. And I want to make sure that if you're interested in this, if you have fear of finishing or fear of completion, please, please, please jump over to my website, sparkyourbeing.com. I'll have a link below, sparkyourbeing.com. Some of you might already be on my mailing list. That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much. Now, the big deal is that I'm going to be letting my mailing list know first when this free training is available, this free training on the soul patterns that keep us stuck. So again, jump on board to sparkyourbeing.com, sign up for my mailing list. It's only a landing page right now, so it's pretty easy. I'm working on the website too, but jump over to sparkyourbeing.com, sign up to be on my list, and I will let you know. Watch your inbox for when that free training is available on the soul patterns, the 4 soul patterns that keep you stuck. So thank you so much for listening. I hope this has helped you a little bit. I don't want you just hanging out there waiting for the soul pattern. I wanted to give you a little, or the soul pattern training. I wanted to give you a little background into why we have these fears. And I hope that's helped you know that you're not alone and that you're not crazy, and this is perfectly normal, especially for creatives. So thanks again. I am Jennifer Joy, your Spark Your Being mentor. And remember that your soul picked this life. So be yourself, express yourself, and share your spark.